What's up, gang? So we have week 8 in the books. We have a few weeks left in the season, and it's been a wild season to say the least. It's been very, very up and down. We've had a lot of upsets, a lot of new teams getting into the top 25, and a lot of great games this year. But before I get into the week 8 recap, if you could hit that like, subscribe, bell icon buttons, and that share button, that'd be greatly appreciated. It's extremely helpful for the channel, gives me great feedback on the content, as well as I don't want you to miss out on any news that comes out. And you will get the latest and most up-to-date news right here. Let's get into week 8. So, week 8, we had the number 2 Michigan Wolverines visiting the unranked Michigan State Spartans, where Michigan rolled through Michigan State 49-0. The highlights of this game for Michigan was J.J. McCarthy, their quarterback, who threw for 287 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Cronum, who is the Michigan running back, had 15 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown. So, Michigan improves to 8-0 on the year and 5-0 against the Big Ten teams, while Michigan State drops to 2-5 on the year and 0-4 against Big Ten teams. Moving on to the next game, and a game that was a very close game, and it was between the number 7 Penn State Nittany Lions while visiting the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, the Penn State Nittany Lions almost came out with a win. This was much closer than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be an 12-point win. Unfortunately for for Ohio State, it did not turn out to be that way. So, Ohio State comes away with a win, 20-12. And Penn State drops to 6-1 on the year, while going 3-1 against Big Ten teams. While the Buckeyes go to 7-0 and 4-0 against Big Ten teams. Now, the importance of the Michigan game and the Penn State game is that all 3 teams in Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State all qualify for bowl games. In order to qualify for bowl games, you need to win 6 games for the year. So each win gets them closer to a better bowl game, possibly a playoff if they remain undefeated like Michigan and Ohio State. So those 3 qualify for bowl games by going 6-1, 7-0, and 8-0. Moving on to the next game, where we have the number 16 Duke Blue Devils squaring off against the number 4 Florida State Seminoles at Tallahassee at Doak Campbell Stadium. Duke got off to a great start, and then it collapsed completely in the second half. Florida State came out with a 38-20 win in very convincing fashion, dropping number 16 Duke to 5-2 and 2-1 against ACC teams, while Florida State improved to 7-0 and 5-0 against ACC teams, and Florida State also qualifies for a bowl game. Coming in at the next game, we have the unranked Arizona State Sun Devils versus the number 5 Washington Huskies at Husky Stadium. This was a lot closer than what it should have been and what I thought it would be. But Washington comes out with the win, 15-7, dropping Arizona State to 1-6 on the year, while they are 0-4 against Pac-12 teams. We also have Washington improving to 7-0 while going 4-0 against Pac-12 teams. And we have Washington clinching a bowl game. We do not know which yet. That will come later on. I will give all bowl games and bowl game predictions later on down the road. Coming in at the next game, we have the UCF Bulls. I believe it is the UCF Bulls going up against the number 6 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Now, the I believe they are the UCF Knights. Excuse me. They are the. It's one of those. But, anyways, UCF visited number 6 and lost by 2 points. This was a much closer game than I expected this one to be. So the UCF Knights lose 31-29. Almost an upset. Great game. Oklahoma did not play as good as they should have, even though they walked out with the win. So they dropped UCF to 3-4 on the year, while going 0-4 against Big 12 teams, while the number 6 Oklahoma Sooners go to 7-0 on the year and 4-0 against Big 12 teams. Oklahoma has now guaranteed themselves a spot in a bowl game. Moving on to the next one, their rivals, number 8, the Texas Longhorns, going up against Houston at Houston. Now, Texas walked away with a 7-point win. Again, should have been a lot bigger win, but it was not. The number 8 Texas Longhorns win 31-24, going to 6-1 on the year and 3-1 versus Big 12 teams, while Houston goes to 3-4 on the year and 1-3 against Big 12 teams. Texas also guarantees themselves a spot in a bowl game. Coming in next, we have the unranked Washington State Cougars going up against the number 9 Oregon Ducks at Oregon. Washington State loses this game 38-24. They drop to 4-3 on the year, going 1-3 against Pac-12 teams, while Oregon goes to 6-1 on the year and 3-1 against Pac-12 teams, and Oregon also qualifies for a bowl game. Coming in next, this was a very surprising upset. This was between the unranked Virginia Cavaliers and the number 10 North Carolina Tar Heels. This game was played at North Carolina. Virginia gets the win, 31-27, and improves to 2-5 on the year and 1-2 against ACC teams. While number 10 North Carolina falling to Virginia falls to 6-1 on the year and 3-1 against ACC teams. This was a heartbreaking loss. This was a very sloppy game by North Carolina. They should have won this game. This was a game they easily could have won. Unfortunately, they didn't. So that's going to affect them in the top 25. So that's upset number 1. Next, we have number 17 Tennessee visiting number 11 Alabama. Mind you, North Carolina has also clinched a bowl game as well. Number 17 Tennessee loses 34-20 to number 11 Alabama, dropping Tennessee to 5-2 on the year and 2-2 against SEC teams, while Alabama is 7-1 on the year and 5-0 against SEC teams. Next, we've got, and Alabama also gets themselves a bowl game. We don't know which one yet. That will come later on. We also have number 13, Ole Miss, going up against Auburn at Auburn. Ole Miss barely got out of this game with the win, but they got the win nonetheless, with the Rebels winning 28-21 against the Auburn Tigers at Auburn, improving to 6-1 on the year and 3-1 against the SEC, while Auburn goes to 3-4 on the year and 0-4 against SEC teams. Ole Miss also qualifies for a bowl game. Next, we have number 14, Utah, going up against number 18, USC. Utah comes out with the win at USC, but by 2 points. The Utah Utes win 34-32, going to 6-1 on the year and 3-1 against Pac-12 teams, while USC goes to 6-2 on the year and 4-1 against Pac-12 teams. Both Utah and USC qualify for bowl games. Coming in next, we have Army, unranked Army, visiting the LSU Tigers, and the Black Knights got steamrolled 62-0 at LSU. LSU played a very clean football game and drops Army to 2-5 on the year, while Army is also 1-3 on the road, and LSU is 6-2 on the year and 4-0 at home. So LSU picks up the win. They qualify for a bowl game, and they made that win very convincing. Moving on to the next game, we had South Carolina going up against the number 20 Missouri Tigers. So Missouri comes out with a 34-12 win over South Carolina, and the Gamecocks drop to 2-5. Drop to 2-5 on the road and 1-4 against the SEC, while Missouri improves to 7-1 and 3-1 against the SEC. Missouri also qualifies for a bowl game. Number 22 Air Force played the unranked Navy midshipmen. So the Falcons get the win 17-6. So they improved to 7-0 while being 2-0 on the road. And Navy improves or drops to 3-4 on the season and 2-2 at home. Number 22 Air Force also qualifies for a bowl game. Coming in on the next game, we have North Texas versus Tulane. The number 23 Green Wave come out with the win, 35-28. So North Texas drops to 3-4 on the year while going 1-2 against the American Conference, while Tulane improves to 6-1 and improves to 3-0 against American Conference teams. Now Tulane also qualifies for a bowl game. Coming in with the other upset of the week, the Minnesota Golden Gophers upset the number 24 Iowa Hawkeyes in a very controversial way, 12-10. Minnesota improves to 4-3, while they improve to 2-2 against the Big Ten. Iowa improves to 6-2, or drops to 6-2 on the year, and drops to 3-2 against Big Ten teams. Iowa also qualifies for a bowl game. And rounding out Week 8, we have the UCLA Bruins, the number 25 UCLA Bruins, going up against the unranked Stanford Cardinal at Stanford. UCLA comes out with a very convincing 42-7 win, improving their record to 5-2 on the year and 2-2 against Pac-12 teams, while Stanford drops to 2-5 on the year and 1-4 against Pac-12 teams. That is the Week 8 recap. Let me know what you guys think of the games, which was the most surprising, which game you thought should have been a bigger win. Until next time, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you next time.